Will 2022 begin with a war? Is Russia about to invade Ukraine? Tonight we have some disturbing developments to report. A critical meeting is underway. US President Joe Biden is speaking to his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin. The reason is this. Look closely. This is the Russia-Ukraine border. The grab is from a US intelligence document. It is the latest assessment of the Russian build-up near Ukraine. The situation is worrying. Russian forces are building up at 4 sites. Why is this worrying? Because this is how wars begin. The US assessment says that the Kremlin is planning a multi-front offensive on Ukraine. It involves 175,000 Russian troops, 100 battalions of tactical groups fully equipped with tanks, artillery, armored units, drones and electronic warfare systems. And that is why Joe Biden is speaking to Vladimir Putin. The US president wants Russia to pull back. The Americans have been building pressure for months. They haven't had any success. But now Biden cannot afford to wait for Putin to change his mind. Russian troops are dangerously close to the Ukraine border. America has only 2 options at the moment: send in troops to help Kiev defend itself or force the Russian troops to withdraw. Which way will this go? Are we headed towards a war? What does Putin want? And can Biden convince him to de-escalate? On Gravitas tonight, we'll decode this dangerous escalation near Ukraine. First, let's discuss the developments at the border. We've been telling you about this for weeks now. There is massive deployment of Russian troops near eastern Ukraine, and this is nothing like what happened last spring. Remember, Russia had sent soldiers to the Ukraine border in March as well, March this year. They returned after a few months. Now they're back in bigger numbers. How many soldiers are we talking about? Close to 100,000. 50 battlefield tactical groups are deployed near the border. A reserve of contract troops is on standby. They can be mobilized if and when a conflict actually breaks out. The US believes that Russia has a plan to send up to 175,000 troops. 175,000. And this can happen as early as January 2022. Can Vladimir Putin be convinced to de-escalate? Well, that's Joe Biden's best hope. And that's why he's meeting the Russian president virtually. It's a tough assignment for Biden. And Moscow is not giving him reason to be optimistic. Even before the meeting began, the Kremlin ruled out any breakthrough.
There's no need to expect any breakthroughs from this conversation. It is a working conversation during a very difficult period. The escalation of tensions in Europe is off the scale. It is extraordinary, and this requires a personal discussion at the highest level.
So what is the Kremlin's game plan? Reports say Russia has laid the groundwork for a full-blown invasion into Ukraine. 3 developments confirm this theory. Number 1, Russia is building supply lines to support troops near the border. Number 2, Russian troops have conducted drills to rehearse an invasion. And number 3, Moscow's propaganda campaign against Ukraine and the West is building up. Let's break these down one by one. First of all, the supply lines. Any invasion, as you would know, needs logistical support. Soldiers on the front constantly need supplies, weapons, bullets, food, medical supplies, and a lot of other things. And to send all of these supplies, you need special routes. So Russia has its supply lines in place for a potential Ukraine invasion. Dedicated routes have been created. They can be used to send fuel and medical units to the front. Arrangements for an invasion are already in place. Reports say Russia can feed frontline forces for 7 to 10 days. They can feed other support units for up to a month. And Russian forces are not just well supported, they're also well prepared. Earlier this year, Russian forces conducted drills. They happened near the Ukraine border. Kiev has been closely studying the activities of Russian troops. They believe Russia has a battle plan in place. Russian forces have rehearsed mobilization measures. They've planned logistical support and the transfer of military contingents. They have all of this worked out. Russia's plan for an invasion into Ukraine is not just limited to troop deployments and weapons. Moscow is also using unconventional methods. Reports say the Russian government is running a propaganda campaign. Russian influencers have been put to work. They're pushing content to criticize Ukraine and NATO and to paint them as the aggressor, not Russia. That is the Russian playbook for you. Moscow has begun the battle without firing a single bullet. It's not just projecting strength through military deployments, it is also weakening Ukraine through influence campaigns and propaganda. As far as the Americans are concerned, Putin is in a position to launch an invasion. All he needs to do is give the order.
Know that Putin has made up his mind to use force, but what we do know is that he's putting the Russian military, the Russian security services in a place where they could act in a pretty sweeping way.
That's what the West is up against, an inscrutable Vladimir Putin. It has been a month since this build-up began. The Americans have tried to help Ukraine with weapon supplies, with tactical support, but they have not been able to decipher what Vladimir Putin wants. And that is a challenge before US President Joe Biden today. He'll have to read the Russian president's mind. He'll have to figure out why Putin has ordered such a massive escalation. Can the US president stop a war from breaking out, or will he end up being sucked into a conflict in his first year in office? This one is going down to the wire. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.